And we're back, and you are listening to Villaincast, BJJ Anti-Heroes, with myself, Chris the Villain Pains, and Naqi El Jefe Arshed. And welcome to Reap the Week. But first, a quick thank you to our members at In Theory BJJ, Concept-Driven Jiu-Jitsu, for fight commentary, technique and concept videos, private coaching, monthly webinars and Q&A sessions. Please visit www.patreon.com/InTheoryBJJ. Good evening, Nak.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Well, I'm in a ranty mood today.
Oh,
Ranty.
that's good. That's good. Have you got questions to match that?
No, I think the questions don't match how ranty I feel.
We'll find something to rant about, though.
I think I may just end up ranting in general at the questions, even though they don't deserve them. But yeah, are you feeling ranty as well?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you remember when we started making videos on the YouTube channel and we tried to make a ranty video once, and it felt so painfully forced. Right, a ranty videos, like things that piss us off in jiu-jitsu. Like, right, we'll rant about something, but we weren't angry enough.
Yeah.
And then now it's like I find that here, if I have one of those days, I can come in and just go, for fuck's sake, right, here we go. And I'll just stare at this screen and rant away. How's your week been for training?
Week's been good, man. I got some good training, and I get some good training out because I really prioritize it a lot. But yeah, what about you? You've been training much? Monday, obviously, we trained together.
Yeah.
And
yeah, got some. I got a little bit on Monday. Got a little bit whilst I was away. Got a bit of rolling in, which was nice. I was down in Guernsey.
Oh
yeah. Hidden Baja. They try and stay off the radar of the rest of the Bahas. So they're cool, a cool gym. They're sticking off the radar, so they don't really fall foul of Bahaisms. And yeah, nice guys. Really nice gym, really nice bunch of guys. Went through some of the stand up and the defensive posture stuff, and it went great. And everyone's really friendly, and I highly recommend Guernsey. It was a really nice island. I've never been. I didn't know much about Guernsey, but I didn't realise that it was one of the only English-speaking places that was occupied by the Nazis.
oh shit, I didn't know that.
They got to the Channel Islands, and so I might be wrong. I was just pootling around on the island a little bit, and there were I think old parts of the coast where gunnery shelters were and stuff like that. It's obviously being reclaimed by time. And I was like, oh shit! It was fortified. Some old fortifications.
How long did it take you to get there?
Guernsey, dude. Birmingham Airport. 45 minutes. The train to Birmingham Airport from Stafford was longer than the fucking flight.
Yeah,
down to Guernsey.
fuck you, yeah.
But it was lovely. I highly recommend going. They're a really, really cool bunch. So I was like, what a lovely little place. Maybe
Nice.
I'll take back some things I've said about Baja. You're silly. Okay, they're a good place, but you can't just say everyone's good because you went to one good place. That'd be silly. That's like going to an Aikido gym and having a really tough Aikido gym and then thinking the rest of them are really oh right, yeah, all Aikido's tough now.
Talking of Aikido, did you see that picture of Steven Seagal and George St. Pierre that's going around?
I haven't.
They were at I think they were at Karate Combat, that event in Dubai,
right,
where they're fighting. Yeah, so the Aikido man with one of the goats of MMA.
I wonder if he's teaching GSP stuff like he taught Anderson stuff.
Yeah, some secret kick.
Oh my god.
Just imagine if somebody turned around and said something about him like they're about P. Diddy at the moment.
Oh god. Yeah.
That'll fucking screw things up big time.
So, right, are you ready? because I've got a bit of a rant. It's bubbling inside me right now.
Yeah. Go on,
I feel like, okay. Oh,
Question
okay.
one.
I'm going, no, it's not a question. I'm just channeling something inside me. So, okay. Why I don't think submissions should be taught for a pretty decent amount of time. And why I've got a problem with submissions in general. I've said this before, and just in case people are new to the podcast, it's cum shot jiu-jitsu. It's Pornhub jiu-jitsu. Like, people just want to get to the end, and that's all they care about. And we saw that recently. We've had a couple of guys join the gym, and I am very much like, it's amazing actually how few sessions we have that involve a submission. Like, majority of the sessions is just on control. Like, maybe a little bit of submission in here and there, but it's mostly control.
Yeah, we go through like a period of where we do show some submissions, and then it's like, okay, we're working on more how to get there and how to control people rather than actually getting the submission.
Exactly. But when you think when you're trying to get a hand fight, you got to win the hand fight, close the distance, etc. Get control of their spine in some way. So that could be either passing the guard and getting control of the spine, or passing the hand fight and getting a takedown to then get control of the spine. You then have to transition from that major control of the spine through to a minor control of a limb or whatever, of a shoulder or a hip or a knee or something. And then it's only the flexing of that joint at the end, which is an actual submission. It's like 5%. And we've had a couple of those, lads join recently, and I haven't shown them any submissions. And I saw that, one of them must have watched some YouTube, because he then goes for this arm bar on his friend, and looks like he hurt him. And I was like, I had to call him out and say, you know what? You're never doing that again. Like, you're banned from submissions. And I don't give a fuck. Like, I know some dictators have had a bad rap, some went a bit too far. But I think there should be, there has to be that kind of dictatorial role in the gym. And fuck it, I will say, no, that's it, sorry, you're off submissions now. You're not allowed. Until you can fully control someone and maintain that control and maintain the access, etc. No, sorry, submissions not available to you.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, this, it's in the long run, they don't realize now, but if they stick around long enough, they'll thank us for doing it this way, because the submission is not easy to get, and they don't understand that. Like you say, it's that instant gratification, ain't it? So
they forget about Mary as well.
Yeah, they forget about the foreplay.
For a submission.
And it's like,
or the story. How did she get into the washing machine? Why is there a plumber here? Why is she wearing? You have to respect the story sometimes.
Yes, 100%.
Not just skip to the end. And that's what happens a lot of the times. That people are like, no, show us the end. Well, that's not the important part.
You got to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, exactly. And it even watching these couple of young lads come in, sounds weird now. And they instantly go for, oh no, I just want to know submissions. And the thing is that if you don't have good control and you don't work on that control, you have a lot of Hail Marys, and that gives you a false sense of how good you're getting. Like, you might catch a Hail Mary every now and then, go, oh my God, I'm getting submissions. But they're Hail Marys.
Yeah.
And that hits a very quick, firm wall when you come across someone who's actually good. Essentially, that's what we sell our fucking product on, is the fact that people's control is shit at pretty much every level. I feel comfortable enough half the time going to seminars or even camps and call 300 people in front of me and calling out a high level belt, like a brown belt or a black belt, and going, right, armbar me in front of these people, I'll get out of it. And so they're then ragging on my arm, and I'm like, there's no control here. Like, cool, go full speed from armbar from mount, like, I'll be fine. It's because we haven't built up that information of how to control someone, that they can't go anywhere. Yet you meet someone who's an elite level submission artist, like a good leg locker, for example, like Raul. The bite on your leg, you're not getting out.
Yeah,
you can hold your leg and you're not going anywhere. And so having to beat that into people's heads when they first join. Like, no, sorry, unfortunately for you, submissions. We don't do submissions here for the first year. You can roll, absolutely. Welcome to the club, but if you go for submissions or you get obsessed with the idea of submissions, you're looking for the cum shot, and you're going to either Hail Mary it and just fly into the cum shot whenever you can, or you're going to hurt someone as well, and you're not going to build up that control. Hurt someone with the cum shot.
Yeah.
Deadly. Right in the eyes. Oh, yeah. So if anyone's out there and you think, right, how do you get better at jiu-jitsu? And you think, I need to know more submissions or anything. Like, no, control. Ignore submissions for a bit. Submissions are making you shit. It's very rare now that I actually go for any submissions.
Yeah,
increasingly rare. Like, I much more value control. If I can control you fully, then yes, but I will not snatch anything out of thin air.
Yeah.
It grinds my gears, it does. So now we've set the tone for rantiness. First question. Set of concepts. Set of defensive concepts for when you're fighting heavier opponents.
Defensive concepts always remain the same.
Yes. But here we go. Heavier opponents. Like,
you've got
there's a reason we have weight
yeah,
divisions.
Yeah, exactly.
Because heavier opponents have more power. This is going to be a running theme, I think, on this one. In a couple of questions, the same one comes back.
But the thing is, though, like, yes, they got power, but if you're smaller, you'll probably have the stamina and the speed advantage. So this is where you need to work on these angles. That's how you beat bigger guys. And bigger guys, you better hope that they're not as quick as you, or else you're fucked.
Well, how do you stop a quick person from being quick? You pin them to the floor. So if anything, if you want a really good idea for defensive concepts against heavier opponents, don't be underneath them.
Yeah, 100%.
Be on top. Like being the lighter person, being able to float and move around someone is critical. And if you're stuck underneath them, it's going to be fucking rough. Bad plan.
I agree.
So unless you're really good at hunting for leg locks and bouncing people that way, I highly recommend don't be on the floor with them. Be the person on top. And if you can't get them down, there's a problem with that, and it's called weight categories. Yeah. There's a reason why they exist. That kind of leads on to, because I was having a conversation today about weight cutting in jiu-jitsu and why we do it. And it's that cognitive dissonance we have with jiu-jitsu, where we don't appreciate actually how important weight is, and there's a reason why we have weight divisions. And you can see it when we weight cutters, we're trying to like control that weight disparity. In the gym, then we can fight massive people, and then we go, but how do we beat bigger people? Like, no, you can't. You cut weight so you don't have to fight bigger people, because you know it's difficult. And now in the gym, you're like, cool, I'll fight bigger people, and then you get murdered. So, well, yeah.
Your expectations are not consistent.
Exactly. Like, it's funny, like, you'll have people like, I weigh 80 kilos. So I'm trying to cut to like the under 76 division because, I don't want to fight heavier guys. What do you mean heavier guys? I mean guys who are like 1-2 kilos above where you are or your weight. And then you get in the gym and you end up fighting guys who are like 10 kilos, 15 kilos bigger than you, 20 kilos. Like, but how do I beat heavy opponents? Like, well, you avoided them when you went to competition because it's really hard fighting someone who's got 2 kilos on you. What makes you think you're going to have any sort of better time fighting someone who's got 20 kilos on you? That makes zero sense.
Quick maths.
Yeah, exactly. Someone said they agree and disagree with how I approach Eco, but a lot of people do just follow Sauder's without questioning him.
I think anybody who follows anything or anyone without, questioning whatever they believe in is wrong anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, as far as Saudis is concerned right now, he's had one of his lads, I think, is in the under 66 ADCC American trials, West Coast trials, I think it was, who won. So obviously whatever he's doing is working. And I think he's got a lot of people now who follow Saudis. So I think, yeah, if as long as you know or whatever you read and you believe that, okay, he knows what he's talking about, then I guess you follow him, don't you?
Yeah, and I do appreciate the idea that historically in jiu-jitsu, and we've had very little of decent actual coaching, like decent approaches to coaching methodology, and now we've got a guy coming in with ecological dynamics, and that's it's actual sports coaching for once. But I think at the same time, like going all in on one thing is also detrimental if you don't fully understand it, and you're being dogmatic and religious to an idea again, instead of just giving a fuck about your students and going, right, what would be the best thing to make them better? And sometimes it might not be that.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I mean with Saudis, I watched a video the other day, and man, he was doing so much like a situational stuff, exactly like we do it on a Sunday and a Thursday. I'm like, I know he's full on eco, but he was saying that the start from position, like he was using the head and arm as an example, front head and arm. And then he was talking about how they would start with a situational kind of active drill where the hands would be on a DARS position or a Peruvian position, and then they'd start in a anaconda position, and then they'd start with just the elbow and the chin. Same thing, but he was progressing the drill. And I was like, this ain't full on eco. Like, he's surely showing them how he's going to grab, how to put their hands in them positions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess it's various aspects to it, but at the same time, there's so many things in jiu-jitsu, like physiological things, that you just won't figure out unless someone actually explains it to you, like how you actually go, what ligament you're actually trying to tear, or how you're actually going to apply a choke to create that kind of pressure that causes the blackout. Like, you may get some success in the situational games, but that doesn't actually mean that you're actually doing it right, because people can just tap to pain. Then you come across someone who isn't going to tap to pain. Oh shit, I actually don't know how to finish this.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know how long this ego debate is going to last for.
I know.
I don't get it, to be honest with you, but yeah.
that's how the big thing about chokes is you need the details, the fine details for understanding how a choke works. Because if you do it wrong, you may get taps in the gym just because you're slamming something on, like this kid. Like, he slams on this utterly shit rear naked choke with zero accuracy, cranks his friend's face, and he gets a tap. He could then keep doing that and thinking he's doing the right thing. But then he goes into a competition with someone who doesn't give a shit about pain, and this thing doesn't work. And it's like, well, wait there. He was winning games with it, but now it's not working because he hasn't had the details of actually how this works. Yet good accuracy would allow that. So I think some places detail has to be shown, and we have to go in and explore physiological sides of things. And that's why then trying to do mental gymnastics of but I need to stick to ecological, and how am I going to get there with an ecological way? Like, how about just do it the most simple way that's going to make your students better? I don't give a shit how.
Exactly, on the money.
Instead of being dogmatic and religious to try and stick to one idea, and we're going around in these same fucking circles. Feeling ranty. This is a good one for you. You're gonna like this.
Go on.
Prepare yourself, Naq, to not throw your shit across the room. I mean, your phone. I don't mean feces. Just all of a sudden just shit in your hands and throw it across the living room.
That's a really bad image.
How much did you piss off Naqi? Badly. It was made an awful mess. Right. Should you train for power and strength for competitions, or to be relaxed and flowy? That's the sound of you shitting in your hands, isn't it?
Sometimes I wonder, I mean, there's no such thing as a bad question, but I think I think it's not. I think if you sat down and thought about it yourself, you could probably answer most of your own questions. I think.
Well, no,
And
like it's Alex Riley from up at our good friends up at Black Dog.
yeah,
So I like the fact he's setting us on a question, but at the same time, I'm like, it makes us discuss it and makes us say strength and power, conditioning. Like I think because I was reading this, I was like staring at the words, trying to understand them, and I thought one of these you can have both in that you want physically to be powerful and strong, but mentally you want to be relaxed and not suffering from the adrenaline.
yep.
So you essentially you're doing both. I just removed the word flowy from it.
It's controlled aggression, isn't it? I think that's one of the best ways to describe it.
I actually said this today. I actually bored someone to death in that when I used to do risk assessments for work, because, you know, the irony of all ironies, I was a health and safety lead at work. I've got a health and safety qualification, and yet it's like I appreciate the irony that I was there, like making sure doors open and close safely to make sure fingers don't get trapped. And then of an evening, I go and bounce a dude's head off the floor until he suffered from mild concussion. Health and safety, never heard of her. So I can't remember what we were saying.
Health and safety simulating murder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was it. So part of doing a risk assessment is this idea of balancing hazard versus risk. And one of the ways I used to understand it was that a hazard is like, you know, if you walked out in front of if you got hit by a car, like it would cause you immense problems. And so you had to measure, like, okay, what's the hazard is getting hit by a car, which, you know, if the car's going at a decent rate, death. But then the risk is what are the chances of you getting hit by a car? Which, if your like pastime is jogging down dark roads wearing black in the middle of the road, decent amount you're going to get hit by a car. But if you're, you know, that's the risk. But if you're someone who, you know, sticks to the pavement, sticks well away from the edge of the road, and it's on quieter, slow roads, chance of you getting hit by a car, lower. Like the hazard hasn't changed because getting hit by a car still sucks, but we've amended the risk. And so I always look at the same with jiu-jitsu as in, we do violence, we do incredible violence. We do violence that causes immense pain and suffering and injury. But aggression is the risk factor. Like that's the emotion behind it. Like you can be ultra violent, but if you haven't got the aggression behind it, it's like, well, you can control that violence. But if you've got someone who's violent and aggressive, like, oh no,
you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could have someone who's like hyper aggressive with zero violence. It's like that's like having a small child biting you, like with no teeth, like, really aggressive, no damage caused. So you got to be able to balance the two. So yeah, I'd say power and strength for competitions.
Yeah, of course, man. It's about getting in there, having that fire, and that ain't gonna come from being flowy.
No, you want to violently mangle someone.
Yeah, you want to hit like in the most nicest way possible. You want to hit someone.
And if you haven't got the strength and power behind it and the conditioning, then you're going to lose. Again, like, you have to, you know, you can be very powerful and strong, but if you're not relaxed, that if you haven't got the adrenaline and the sports psychology under control, that's also going to suck.
Yep.
What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, like, you know, if you have a car, for example, like a sports car, you need the best fuel, you need best everything in there for it to run like to its best, highest like potential. And the human body is very similar. We got to like, you know, make sure that everything is, especially jiu-jitsu, where our joints have to be strong, tendons, and that our structure has to be strong for us to do a lot of the moves that we have to do, and at the speed that we got to do them sometimes, and also then the impact that we have to take falling. And you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well,
you got to.
kind of like you say, yeah, you have to make sure you got the best fuel in your car if you're going for a race.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'd say it's like going into a race with like other sports cars, and you're going in like a VW Beetle, like,
Yeah.
and you're expecting to win. Like maybe if the other cars all break down, or their drivers have had head injuries,
But the
and don't have to
probability
drive properly.
is very,
Yeah, like you could have someone who's a bit of a plonker, still driving a really powerful car. You're like, and you're in your V. Like I'm a really good driver, but I'm in like a 3W, like a 3-wheel Reliant Robin. Like I'm against a moron in a Ferrari. Like, I still think the moron may win.
That's a good analogy there.
Yeah, I like it. We took it further. So yeah, if you want to win that race, like you could be the smartest driver there is, but if you're in that 3-wheel Reliant Robin, like maybe upgrade your car.
Yeah.
with some illegal imports.
some secret
NOS.
fuel. Some secret
Yeah.
fuel.
Put some NOS in that fucking tank. Watch it go. It'll burn out faster. It'll be glorious.
That's it, mate. We've compared the human body to our sport. The car.
Oh my god. Oh. Right. Not sure how to approach this one, but we'll go for it. Kindle guard against judo players blasting through guard for a pin. Thoughts?
That's not just for against judo players. That's anybody. Kindle guard works because you've got force coming towards you, and then you can use that to elevate them or out-angle them to the side. You have the elevators as well, so it works against anybody who's trying to rush you, not just judo players. I didn't think judo players rush people unless they do like a trip. I think they usually do throws, don't they?
I think there's an element actually. I actually say that judo players and wrestlers are more likely to beat Kindle guard than jiu-jitsu people.
Yes,
because they follow up their takedowns.
Yes.
Like they don't just take someone down and go, oh, he's fallen over. Now I'll do the guard passing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, weirdly German. But like a judo player will take you down, then they'll land on you and put that pressure on your hips and your back to try and pin you. And trying to play Kindle guard against someone who's putting you on your back is really difficult. Who's good at it. Because that's one thing as well. Like I've noticed with Kindle guard at our gym, it's a lot harder to pull off because people follow up their takedowns now.
Yeah.
Like they'll get the takedown, and they'll follow you down, and they'll follow your hips down, and they'll control your hips on the way down, not that you have the space.
Yep.
Against someone who's in normal jiu-jitsu, who's more likely to put you down and not follow up effectively. So I'd say actually Kindle guard against judo players blasting through the guard for a pin, harder. Like if you want to get better at standing up, don't fight. Like Lachlan Jar said on this podcast, if you want to fight, if you want to get better at getting up or taking people down, don't do it against jiu-jitsu people because they suck. They like falling over. Fight people who don't like falling over.
Yeah.
So maybe do Kindle guard against judo players. Realize it's going to be really hard, but keep doing it until it works.
Yeah.
And then when you use it on jiu-jitsu people, you'll kill them. They won't have a clue what to do.
Yeah. Oh, so this is a judo player asking that if they could play it.
Maybe someone who does a bit of judo, yeah. Maybe cross trains it. I was like, yeah, maybe Kindle guard. Like, if you think your Kindle guard works against regular BJJ people, like, yeah, but that's shooting fish in a very small barrel. Now use it against people who know what the hell they're doing and actually follow up their takedowns.
Yeah.
Next question: what made you get into BJJ?
What made me get into? I don't know. I always liked fighting, and I did, and I always grew up fighting, and then I always knew there was a more sophisticated art to it than just how we fight on the streets. And then it was like I love boxing. I used to watch a lot of boxing. I was a big Mike Tyson fan, Muhammad Ali fan, and then that's why I did a bit of boxing previously as well. Whilst I was finding jiu-jitsu, because I started watching MMA from a young age, like back in the cage rage days, like when it used to be like free on Extreme Sports, like them days, and I always knew like the grappling somehow just overpowered everything. And I was like, if you want to be good at fighting, you got to learn this shit. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I always looked for BJJ or some kind of wrestling form. You know what I mean?
So you mentioned there about Tyson. What are your feelings on Tyson versus Jake Paul?
Oh man, don't start that shit. Like he's a
Okay, sorry, I take it
57-year-old
back.
man or a
Take it
58-year-old
back.
man, and like in the again, like we talked earlier about the why do weight classes exist? Age is a real, age is a real thing as well. Like, and if they really had a fight as much as Mike Tyson is, whoever he is, if Jake Paul just runs around for a bit, Tyson ain't gonna catch him. Tyson will be done. But I don't know what's gonna happen. Until just like exhibition though, there's no real winner or loser or something.
I don't know what the rules are. Let's
Yeah,
just
I
hope
don't know. I haven't followed it, mate. I don't follow none. I don't follow most of this shit since this YouTube boxing came in, and they just ruined
Yeah.
boxing, man. And now it's
Like
mostly
boxing was
just
having a great time anyway.
yeah. But I mean, they had a really good thingy this weekend gone with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney.
Yeah.
That was a good fight. But yeah, I think it's like they just have like one decent fight every quarter or something. And whereas in MMA, it's nearly every month here. I mean, on a card, there's potentially two, three decent high level fights.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. There's more about MMA than there is about
Yeah,
boxing.
exactly. I mean, no
Um,
offense to boxing, but yeah, they're just killing it by allowing these fools to come and ruin their sport. The promoters don't
yeah.
help as well.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Um, I think I never really did BJJ. Well, no, theoretically, neither of us have. Like, we've never got into BJJ in general. We did submission wrestling with a gi on. Um, we just happened to have BJJ belts. Um, we're imposters. I thought BJJ stood for blowjob job. Still do. Seems appropriate.
I always laugh at that. No matter how many times you tell that story, I always laugh at that part.
And just read it like, what the hell's blowjob job? Um, no, I like submission wrestling. I got into it because I went to a competition. I entered into a competition. I mean, dialing it all the way back. So I got a black belt in traditional jiu-jitsu, which is like, Kempo karate mixed with some compliant throws. We did a bit of groundwork where you start back to back and you try and get scarfold. And that made me think I was a bad man that was capable. And I got a black belt. I didn't know what MMA was. I thought the UFC was like WWE and was fake. Should have looked into that one. But then I went and I broke up with my girlfriend at the time, so I had all this like free time of an evening. I was like, I'm going to do something with myself. So I entered into this judo newaza competition thing. I'm a bad man with a black belt at 22 years old. I had never been into a gym properly and lifted any weights or done any cardio. So I entered this judo newaza competition as a black belt. So judo ground fighting with a black belt and a karate gi. And then 3 weeks out, I ended up finding Fighting Fit, thinking I'm going to go in there and clown these guys. Didn't. Got the shit out of me in a big way. I was like, oh, I suck at fighting. I better keep doing this. And then, went to that competition after 3 lessons of submission wrestling. First fight was against the BJJ blue belt. Second fight was a judo black belt. Third fight was a BJJ purple belt. And I had 3 lessons of actual, fighting experience. And I was wearing a karate gi with a karate black belt. I was like, oh, this kid's going to get hurt. I couldn't run more than a mile at this point. I couldn't swim and learned to swim. So I had no cardio.
So you've done no physical strength training or anything till this point whatsoever?
No.
So just literally whatever martial arts you learned, that was the only kind of training you had?
Yeah.
Fuck me, you must have been soft.
Dude. I couldn't run more. I've never run any sort of distance. Like I did some sprint work years prior when I was at school, but I got big in that time. Like I was overweight. All I was doing, like I was doing push-ups and like the warm-up at the traditional jiu-jitsu and sit-ups. But I remember the first time I went to a weights gym properly and I tried to bench, I think it was about 50 kilo. So I literally had like 15 on either side on plates, 15 kilo on either side on the bar. And I dropped it on my chest.
Ooh.
50 kilo on my chest.
Fucking hell.
Dude, like that's embarrassing.
How old were you at this point then?
Like 23.
Oh, interesting.
So I wasn't young. And some dude had to come and rescue me and literally like one-handed deadlifted it off my chest. Like, I cut my dick off and put it in a jar. Like, emasculated me completely.
He snipped you there for that moment in your life. He snipped
absolutely. You. Probably thought it was some sort of like you had to look around for a camera that was being pranked. Like, why is this kid like screaming? He's got an empty bar on his chest. So like I pretty much had everything in like going against me at that point. Like I had no physical ability, and I'd walked into a competition. I even like invited like people from my jiu-jitsu club at the time, the traditional jiu-jitsu club, to come watch me kick ass. And all they watched was me almost get decapitated because I decided to wear cheese wire to a chokey competition. Why is Chris screaming? Because I didn't know what tapping was at that point either. So all I did was scream.
Oh shit! You had it rough, man. You had it rough.
I know. Whenever anyone comes in, they like whinge like, "Oh, this is a bit painful. This is." So I'll slap them. So you don't know what physical and emotional pain is. Shut up. you have to you have to knock yourself down to the bottom. And rebuild yourself. I think I even remember. Jesus Christ! I was even warming up by doing like karate chain punches at the side of the mat.
Oh no! Oh no!
Dude, imagine some pasty-faced, weedy, muscle-free kid in a black karate gi with his karate-style black belt on, doing chain punches at the side of a BJJ mat with blue belts and purple belts in his division. You'd be like, oh,
oh shit!
This kid chooses death. Very quickly after that competition, after I stopped crying, I started to do. I taught myself to swim by watching YouTube videos and getting in the pool regularly. So I was doing within like a couple of months, I was doing 2 miles a day.
Nice.
Going to the gym, dude. I fucking worked on it. So I was getting cardio from that. I was then doing like 3 or 4 miles a day running. Up to the point where I think within a year I was catching the train to the next town and then running back again. So it was like a 10-mile run, like to Stone. So I built up my cardio, my strength in that time. And within I'd say 3 years of like starting, I took my bench from 50 kilo on my chest up to about 130.
Nice.
I was working fucking hard, and I wanted it, but yeah, small beginnings. So what made you get into BJJ? Because I had my ass kicked and I looked like a fucking idiot. Okay, next question. So we talked about the whole idea of like blue belts being stupid last week and getting up their own assholes. And someone asked the question of what's the criteria then for a purple belt?
Ooh, purple belt. I think purple belt. You mentioned it before many times, I think.
I see purple belts as like just unsharpened black belts.
Yeah, figuring out your game, innit?
Yeah, like someone who's capable across the board and who's just getting sharper.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why I think purple belts are one of the hardest belts. Is like at least a blue belt you have a direction because you've got stuff to learn and understand. A purple belt you kind of know everything that you need to know. It's just getting sharper now. So when you try and like shave off those inefficiencies, that's what makes it heartbreaking. Because you're like, I don't see where else I'm supposed to say. I know all my guards. I know all my top controls. I know all my submissions. I know my takedowns. I know my hand fighting. And now you're just trying to shave off the inefficiencies. And that can be so demoralizing.
Especially when you keep failing.
Yeah, so that's why I'd say like my criteria for looking at a purple belt is it someone who is capable in every way, who just needs to start becoming more efficient. And when you're eating shit from black belts and that inefficiency is kind of killing you, like it breaks your heart. Yeah, purple belt sucks as a belt. Brown belt sucks as well.
Yeah.
And black belt ain't cool either.
Yeah, enjoy the white and blue days.
No, I think we'll enjoy the white belt days because blue belt sucks as well. At least the white belt, no one cares.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one. I had to look this one up because I was like, the fuck is a kneel knot? It's like late stage defense to the kneel knot.
What's a kneel knot?
I was like, I thought it was some sort of like sex move. By Neil Mallinson. No, it's very, very similar to Williams guard, but instead of holding onto the shoulder, you hold onto your own hand and like crank it into the shoulder a little bit, like a like a shoulder crank with your leg.
Okay,
involved.
yeah.
Williams guard.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, essentially, the real reason why Williams guard and that guy guard, when I was watching it kind of makes sense is because you're coming out to the side.
Yes.
And like hipping out, so you can put a lot more pressure behind the shoulder, and essentially like cranking in a bit of a Kimura omoplata kind of thing, which is keeping them down.
Yeah.
But I think if you aren't fully onto your side, and they can push back in towards you and put you on your back, that's what kills Williams guard, and I guess kneel knot by extension.
Yeah, just get them flat.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I find that my Williams guard kind of falls apart. If I can fully hip out and get my body to the vertical, like over the vertical a little bit, so there's more pressure going down into your shoulder, I can hold Williams guard way better. But if I find that if you can really like push into me hard before I get onto my side, like that just kills it. And
we both tried on each other, and we kill it dead early as well because we're like, nope, you're staying flat, mate.
Yeah, so I'd say, especially like looking at kneel knot, looks like it puts a bit more pressure behind the shoulder, like rotation on the shoulder. But same thing, the second they start coming up, you need to drive back in towards them and flatten them back out.
Use your legs.
Don't let them on the side. Yeah, get in there, flatten them back out. And so if you can do that, you're essentially in a body lock.
Yeah.
Your shoulder's a bit cramped up, but just keep them flat. You'll keep pressure off your shoulder at that point. It's only because your shoulder's out to the side. And this one is courtesy of one of our Danish friends. This is from long ago. How many animal days should the ideal training week have?
Okay. So I'm going to link this to something that...
Animal Day?
Say again?
Do you remember Animal Day?
No. Go on.
Oh, this might predate you then. Holy shit. It probably does predate you. So Animal Day was a thing that I suffered when I first joined Fighting Fit. I think I had maybe a little bit when you first joined, but it's not been around for a few years now. 9 years by the sounds of things. Animal Day used to be, I remember like it was, I used to get in the gym when I still had coaches and it was like announced. And it was a case of the rules of Animal Day were you weren't allowed to hold a position for longer than 3 seconds.
Okay.
And you weren't allowed to use submissions, and you weren't allowed to use anything that looked like jiu-jitsu.
What?
Yeah, so you couldn't use like guard or sweeps or stuff like that. If you got to side control or mount, you couldn't like hold it for more than 3 seconds. You had to progress to the next position.
Are you allowed to use your hands?
Yeah, you could use your hands, but like you couldn't like play complicated looking stuff. It had to be like just violent shit. And the only way you'd win is just by cardio tapping or just brutally hurting someone. So like you'd kneel on their neck and stuff like that, or kneel on their face.
What is this nonsense?
Dude, it was just like you got told it was Animal Day, and by the end of it there was just blood everywhere. No one left without their noses or their like lips cut up or something. Like you get to mount and you just be like smashing your shoulder into someone's face, like crunching their jaw up or something, like 3 seconds, and then you'd move around after that and put your knee in their face so they couldn't move.
Shit, when you said Animal Day, I thought someone was asking like a beasting day where like after the week, how many days you should be doing like really beasting days.
I guess that is a beasting day, but it was...
Yeah, but that's the logic behind that.
I think the logic behind it was just like, toughen you out. Like Stocky would put a bin in the middle of the room and go, right, when you feel like you're about to throw up, there's the bin. Carry on. And it's all that kind of like nut shit. Like, we used to have like it was all that kind of like tap out era tough,
Yeah.
Prove, face the pain kind of mentality. Bringing back a bit of a UFC theme there.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it was actually kind of fun. Like, I remember I really used to enjoy Animal Day. Like you go in, it was like, right, this is gonna hurt. But like you get knee on belly and like drive it through someone's chest and switch again, then all of a sudden like kneel on their head and stuff. So it was like trying to control people with just movement and violence.
Okay.
And like without like solid pins. And just hurt them till they gave up. But so yeah, the question of how many Animal Days should an ideal week have? None.
Yeah,
Like,
none. Zero.
At our age, none. Although, to be fair, we're not far off it these days.
Yeah, exactly. We're violent.
When we did sudden death rounds last week, first person to score a point or first person to submission, like that got hairy.
Yeah.
That's very similar because you had to get hold of something for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And people were like, nope. What was it? It took us 8 minutes to get a point or a submission. It hurt by the end of it.
Yeah.
Good. We weren't dancing around. We were in there.
Indeed.
Because that was the thing as well. Like you had to start it from guard. So there was already that kind of like one person on their back, one person upright, sudden death. Like,
yeah.
That automatically puts a heck of a stress on it.
Agreed.
We should have recorded that. It would have been great.
I know, yeah. Slam Cam was missing that day. Well, we put it on for the rolls, didn't we? No, but not for the...
Yeah. I think as well, maybe we could do that again, but I'll actually have the sound on, because usually I have to turn the sound off because,
music.
Copyright.
Yeah.
Music. But if we're not doing sound in the class part, like, yeah, let's put it on. Let's record that. Sudden death rounds. Always a pleasure. Any other things you'd like to go through before we go to bed, because it's 1:30 in the morning?
No, nothing that I can... And no more questions. Are we done?
That's it. That's all the questions.
Oh,
this is pretty long. We're already at 50 minutes.
Yeah, we flew through that.
We're normally done within 35.
We had some... Yeah. We had some good questions as well, like quite a few.
It was nice. And I like that kind of like little tinge of rage before we started.
Yeah, we had that rant.
Adds a little bit of flavour to everything. It's just a bit of like crumbled stock all over it. Just adds a bit of extra salt to it.
Yeah.
Like, everything's just like, fuck it. Stupid fucking ideas. Maybe we should do, because I'm going to try and record as well how to create people that can flow. I think that's kind of important, which is kind of the opposite to an Animal Day.
Yeah,
it'd be funny to just do an Animal Day once, just go see what happens. Like, hey guys, no guards, no submissions, 4-minute rounds, because I want to make it quick and violent, and you can't hold a position for longer than 3 seconds before you have to move on. I wonder what happens.
Yeah, we've got to do it soon though, not before like the competitions and that, because we're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, true. Well, I think that's one thing as well. Like, we talked recently because we've had some people express that they want to train somewhere else because they find our rounds too long and painful. I'm like, oh,
fresh news.
Yeah, I'm like, cool. You know what? I will not lower what we do. Like, I'm happy living small in that way.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna. It's about selling out, isn't it? Like, make the music that you like instead of making music for the radio, for the hits. Even if no one else likes to listen to it, you'll find a small niche crowd that enjoy it. And
yeah.
We found them. We found these freaks. So cool. I will see you tomorrow. We will record some more. We'll show some more cool stuff.
Yeah,
Thank you for your time, Naqi. It's
no
always a pleasure.
problem.
You get some sleep. You've got a busy day.
And you. Thank you.
Night, dude.
Good night.